Good morning, sports fans, and welcome to Hobby Hotline. My name is Dan. I am one of the four collectors. Where's the four collectors thing? It's over there. And also happy to host Hobby Hotline for my third time. I'm counting, but soon hopefully to lose count. I am welcomed by the great Chris Harris at Stale Gum. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning. I've actually lost count on the number of times that I've been on this program, but it is the first time I've done an appearance under the new Four Collectors management. So it's been a while. So,
well, I don't actually agree with that. I think you were on the first.
Well, yeah, I was on that first show with it was like Night of 100 Stars or something, you know.
Well, I appreciate you calling me a star. I was on briefly on that. Well, not briefly, maybe 15, 20 minutes, but I think I got enough of a time to get a rant in about PSA. So, all good.
Yeah.
I know. Hang on, chat, because Chris will have a rant about a different company.
That does much you're going to want to listen to this one, but you're going to have to wait to the end.
So
I think in the business they call that a tease.
3 topics. One is nice and festive and holiday-ish. Another one, which is there he is. And there he is. Hey, Chris, how are you?
Better late than never.
Good. Sorry about that, guys.
Day of the two Chris's for me. Chris Carlin, how are you this morning, sir?
Good. I'm. This is the last day of my little family vacation. We came out to Arizona this week, so heading back today.
Oh, awesome!
All right.
And
I'm actually at my mother's house, so.
Oh, okay. Well, hopefully your mom's internet is good enough.
Hopefully
we picked out 3 topics for this show. One is nice and festive and holiday. The other one is negative and sad and annoying, and the third one is depressing, I guess. The holiday.
Yeah. Let's finish with a real feel good moment. Yeah.
No. We're gonna finish with a Chris rant. Chris has got a good rant coming.
I love Chris rants.
So let me just say hello to the chat. As always, Stuke is here. Good morning, Scott. How are you? We've got Sports Guru 17. That's me saying hello, chat from 4 Collectors. Melissa's here. Philly Joe is here. Larry Gitlin, of course. Foul Ball. Good morning, sir. Ruben Snyder. Last time Ruben Snyder was in the chat, I think he was giving me a hard time. So how about being nice this time, Ruben, since I got up so early from my schedule? Mad City Brew is here. Jeremy from California. All the way. Wait, what time is it in Hawaii right now? It's like 5 a.m. in Hawaii. Double D Vintage is here. History Through Cards. Thanks for getting up early for us, Dylan. Peacemaker Cards. Hi, Dave. How are you? D. All right. D. All right. I'm not even going to try to get that one. It's too many letters for me.
25 to 40.
There we go. All right. 6 a.m. Okay. All right, Chris is going right in with the Mookie Chilson. Hey, Mookie, how are you? I had leftovers last night. I don't know about you guys, but one of my favorite things to do is to take all the leftover gravy, put it in a pot, throw the turkey in, and let it cook slowly for like half an hour, and then it comes out with this nice warm turkey and like warm gravy, and then you mix it in with all the other stuff that's left over.
That's nice.
Eric is here. Eric, what time are you up? You were up late last night. What are you doing up so early? Hello, Ray from Philly. Phil Necro fan. Craig's Cards. We're all good. Jay Hawker Vintage. Mike, how are you? So I guess we'll start with you, Chris Carlin. Since you're on a family vacation, sounds like you're having a good time. And I want you to talk about your hobby.
I've only had to break up 2 fist fights with my boys. So yeah, it's been pretty nice.
Hobby thankfuls. Things you're thankful for in the hobby in this season. See, we got all the festive stuff all around the around the I guess it's the screen.
Yeah, I was thinking about this actually on Thanksgiving. You know, the cards are great. The different collectibles out there are really fun, but for me, it's always the people. You know, people in the chat here, people that are at shows and conventions who come out to see us at PSA drop-off events all over the U.S. You see their passion, you feel their passion, but you also, you know, I've made some really great friendships in this industry and doing this, and we're all connected by that same passion for what we love and sharing it with each other. But for me, yeah, I'm definitely most thankful for the collectors and and I feel like I almost represent them or talk for them or in their interests in rooms that they can't be in. You know, whether I was at Upper Deck or now that I'm at PSA, everything, every decision I would say that we make, I try to represent the collector as much as possible, and make sure that, you know, when we make decisions that it's to the benefit of the collector, which is tricky because, as you guys know, every collector is different, right? So there's not just one type of collector out there. So even speaking up for people who collect in different ways or what have you is important to me. Um, and a lot of that comes just from listening to customers. Just over the weekend, I was at a show, a drop-off event in Arizona, where a collector shared with me that they tried to have runs of PSA cards in tens that are sequential. So the certificate number, they put their submissions in a way so that their certificate numbers will all kind of be sequential, and they'd love to have it in tens. So that was unique to me to see that people collect in a way like that. And I shared those comments with our leadership team that, hey, we need to think about this. Are there other ways that we could offer sequential sequencing of certificate numbers for collectors? So there's a lot of things like that, but yeah, for me, it's the collector.
Yeah, there are people that collect graded cards in ways that I would never think of. Like, I met one guy at a national a couple of years ago that was trying to collect what he called the 86 Jordan Rainbow. And what he meant by that, he wanted to collect a 10, a 9, an 8,
Yeah.
a 7, a 6, a 5, all the way down to a 1.
Yeah.
All 10 of them, a complete run. I'm like, okay, you do you get that PSA 1 of Jordan, but I would be
sometimes
fine.
ones carry a premium. It's wild, but yeah, it's
Because
people like collecting
there
in
are
those
some
ways.
people that just want to go out of their way to collect a 1 over a 2.
Yeah.
It's just wild how some people collect these days. So,
Well, Chris, why don't you tell us what you're thankful for in the hobby around this festive time of year? What do you think?
I am thankful for the people that I've met in this hobby. I'll be honest with you. I'm on the spectrum, so it's kind of hard for me to make friends in real life. But card collecting has introduced me to a whole group of folks that I don't think I would ever even imagine meeting in real life. So I'm also thankful that for cards that I have an outlet that if I didn't have, I think might have led me down a different path. And what I mean by that is, I'll tell you a story. My mom and dad were selling their house in New Jersey, which is where the bulk of my collection was still located at. And my uncle, who lives a couple miles away, offered his basement to store my cards. And so I had rented a van and put all my collection in the van and transported it a couple miles to my uncle's place. And I'm taking, me, my dad, and my two brothers were taking all of my stuff out of the van and into his basement. And this young family comes up to me and it's like, those are baseball cards, aren't they? And I told them, yeah, it was either blowing all my money on this or blowing it all on heroin. And I meant it as a joke at first, but the more I think about it, if I didn't have cards and if I had all of this disposable income, what would I have spent it on? I might have spent it on something. I'm serious. I might have spent it all on drugs and alcohol. So in a way, I am thankful for cards. So kids, they Topps used to put this slogan on the back of the wax packs: do cards, not drugs. I'm glad that I did cards and not drugs.
I managed to have a collection, but also have money for alcohol. So that's my problem, though. And Chris, you know, you could always make friends in the hobby. Think I made a lot of friends in the hobby, and I'm this cranky old man. So imagine that, you know.
Well, I'm a cranky old man. Too,
Chris can be cranky.
Maybe not as old as you are, but I am cranky.
Oh,
you will find out later on.
I can't wait for his rant.
So yeah, I agree with you. Hobby folks, friends I would never have made otherwise. Friends all over the country. I went to Sacramento and hung out in somebody's home recently and had a great time and met his family. And, you know, I see guys in Philly and Boston and get to go to all these different places. And yeah, that's great. Strongsville, of course. And, you know, that's terrific. And yeah, that's my answer. But, you know, also Neo did a video the other day where he talked about, it might have even been yesterday, where he talked about how we should be thankful that, like, this is something that our lives allow us to do. Like, there are a lot of people who don't have the time nor the resources, nor the connections to be able to have a hobby where you can just, you know, collect pieces of cardboard with, you know, sports figures on them. And so it's thankful for a life. But the other thing that I was thinking about was the nostalgia part of it. Is, you know, a lot of my collection, it's all pretty much all vintage baseball, and a lot of it is based on, you know, my dad's favorite team, my uncle's favorite team, that kind of stuff. So it's also like, and cards that I collected as a kid. So it becomes a situation where I'm thankful also that I had a life at that time. Like when I was a kid and teenager, I had a good enough life that I can look back on it and be nostalgic for that. And to me, that's a blessing. So blessings in the you know, in the present day and blessings in the past. And those are the kinds of things that I'm thankful for. And of course, all the friends in the hobby that you guys mentioned. So now that we've talked about all the nice stuff, we're going to have to move into the bad stuff. So it's Probstein, the Snype thing. And I'm really interested to hear both of your thoughts on this, particularly, you know, given the recent sort of stuff. And I want to do, my friend Carlos broke this up in such a good way, like to think of it like two scandals at once. So the real part of it that's all confirmed and there's no, you know, allegations and all this kind of stuff going back and forth is that a website was created, the website failed miserably, and it was so bad that data was breached and people's data was made available. And that's a scandal. And that's a scandal that no one can say didn't happen or he isn't that way or whatever. So I think we need to know that the first part of this is a scandal and it's a terrible thing. And I don't know if the right procedures have been followed with regard to notifying all of the people whose data was breached or potentially breached. So that's one. The second part of it is the concept that in the data that was breached, there are allegations that, you know, many accounts that were connected to the owners of the company bid tens or hundreds of thousands of times on different lots and won many of them. And so that's a whole different thing. And I don't know that, I mean, I think the data, whether it's if it's reliable, yes, then that's a problem. Whether it's reliable or not is still a question. Probstein did do a phone call with a Pokemon guy named Catch-em-all and said that, yeah, he had created all these accounts. So I think there's some confirmation that some of that data may in fact be correct. That being as it may, the people who are investigating this will investigate it if they do, and will at some point learn whether that part of it is true or not. But first part is a scandal. Second part is a scandal that is still developing. So, Chris, I started with you, Chris Carlin, last time. Chris Harris, what are your thoughts on this? Do you have anything that you would like to add to what I just said, or let me know what your approach to this?
It seemed to me that when he tried to create this Snype platform, that he kind of cut corners on security. And these days, a small army of hackers will find a way to get around any security that you have. So if this website could be hacked in less than a week or two, then you really either A, did not think of this, or B, if you did, you kind of cheaped out on the security part, and that's not a good look for anybody. Second of all, I think those emails kind of, I don't want to say that they did confirm, but came close to confirming that Probstein was bidding on his own cards, which is shilling. And as far as I'm concerned, this to me is a capital hobby offense. Once you're caught, it's the death penalty, straight to the chair in my book. I don't think anybody can really trust this guy again if he's bidding on his own stuff. I mean, why would you place a bid on anything tied to this guy if it has been confirmed that he shills his own stuff? And the question that I have is, why would you shill your own stuff? You've sold so much stuff on eBay. I mean, what's the figure? He sold like maybe at least $100 million worth of sales on eBay. Why would you jeopardize that just to get maybe $2 or $3 extra on a $20 card? It just boggles the mind that somebody would be, quite frankly, this stupid to do that. It's kind of like Emmanuel Class, the pitcher for Cleveland, probably the best closer in the league, but he's making like $5,000 to tip his pitches to gamblers. Why would you do that? For $5,000 and you're making what? $12 million a year being the best closer in baseball?
I think, Chris, it doesn't have to do with the money anymore. It's part of a game. It's part of just a competitive nature. And I'm interrupting here, and I want you to go back to what you were saying. And then, Chris, I know you want to talk about this. I know you got to mince your words a little bit, but yeah, go ahead, Chris Harris. Let me stop interrupting you. Please go back.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, why would you threaten a multi-million-dollar a year business just so you can make an extra $2 to $3 on a $20 card? It just, I don't understand it. So.
Yeah, I'll admit I ran over to that platform. I thought, if you're first on some of these platforms, you can get some really good deals, and you can, before they go mainstream. And thank God, I never got my email to activate my account. I was like, what is going on? I tried to sign up 3 times, but then I paused a little bit, and I'm like, wait a second, they've got some things that they haven't figured out yet, and clearly so, or maybe they thought they did, but. It goes to show how much work it takes to create something like eBay. We can complain about eBay all we want, but at the end of the day, it's a pretty damn good platform. It's something that I think a lot of people can trust. And is there hijinks that goes on there? I'm sure there is, but What I've seen so far from the information that's come out on this is just a clear violation of trust. And you're not wrong, Chris, that that this should be something where collectors just swear him off, because in this industry, trust is so important, and collectors have very long memories. I have collectors that will talk to me about a damaged card they had at Upper Deck in 1997, and Chris, you couldn't help me out with that. Like, it's like there's certain things you can and can't do, um, and I hope collectors have this long memory with this, because there's other options, there's other ways to transact. Just because you see something really nice that's on his store, I think, I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole myself, and I collect. So um, I I think that this will hopefully serve as an awakening for collectors to really look at who they're transacting with, and making sure that they can trust the people that they're dealing with. So yeah, I see this as egregious, awful. Everything that is being said out there are people's feelings. They're reacting to this, and um, I think it's important that we remember something like this, because collectors shouldn't have to go through this. Everyone's doing this as a hobby to take away from all the crap that's out in the world that they have to deal with. This is a lot of people's escape. It's their safe place, and when someone violates that safe place, I don't think they should. It should be easy for them to come back from that.
So Dylan has an 18-year memory from a redemption.
Yeah, no, those redemptions are real bastards. Yeah, I have a lot of people who were burned by different redemptions, and it's why I tried, when I had Upper Deck, to make that process easier with codes on cards instead of mailing the cards in, and giving collectors status on their cards. Like, the process had to get better and evolve, and now it still sucks, but it's, as long as people want autograph cards from athletes who are very busy, redemptions are always going to be a thing that we have to deal with. But sometimes you can get some good deals on them because people just hate them so much.
So Zicky has a good point here. And yeah, lots of complaints and thoughts, and but what are the solutions? Well, I don't know. I feel like, will there be any changes in charges in Snype? I don't know. That's hard to say. I talked about this as a lawyer.
Snype is dead, isn't it?
No, charges. Like, is he going to be charged with crimes?
Oh.
And my feeling is that there's two problems, or two things that are going to protect him. One is that he's in New Jersey. He would be prosecuted by the Northern District of New Jersey. The Northern District of New Jersey right now is a complete cluster. They're dysfunctional, and I don't know if they could put together an investigation of something like this. So that's going to protect him. The other thing that protects him is that, look, the hobby's has had this kind of stuff going on for years, and you can point to one prosecution that was of any size, and we'll see. I don't know that he'll ever be charged, but I think the solution here, and the good part of a bad situation, is that it shines a light on, bad actors can get away with it if they're operating in the dark. If there's a light shined on a bad actor, now much of the hobby knows what they're up against. And are people still going to bid on Probstein stuff now that he's back on eBay? Probably, because what Chris says, you'll probably be able to get a bargain on some of this stuff. But it also it opens eyes, and if you open eyes and people are educated, that to me is part of the solution of getting rid of bad actors in this situation. So that to me is kind of the at least the first solution here. Yeah, Monter's all casino, bringing regulations. No, I don't think anybody wants regulations. And this is what I just said. You're waiting a long time. So this is a question: Is Snype website still online? As far as I know, no. And I think Probstein himself has said that it's never coming back. So not. I don't think we're ever going to see it again. But I never tried to sign up because I knew the reputation of the owner of the thing, and I didn't feel like there's enough. I have enough access to the cards that I collect that I don't need to necessarily sign up for a website that I don't trust from day one. So I mean, but not everybody is immersed in the hobby as much as I am. So there are people that maybe they learn about this and they're like, that name now means don't bid, don't go near them. And to me, that's a win.
Name is mud,
so
as they say.
Oh, here we go. We're on the big screens. Sorry for your
Rex.
sorry for having to see this mug. All right, here's a good question, and I think that this is part of the problem. Is eBay doing the right thing by allowing Probstein auctions again? No, of course not. But eBay isn't in it to do the right thing; they're in to do it the profitable thing. So, Chris, what are your thoughts on this?
I will say eBay has been so much better over the last 3 years with regard to giving collectors access to provide feedback. I bought a card that was a very expensive card, and they contacted me and said that, hey, we noticed this damage to it. Do you still want to proceed with the sale? And I didn't see the damage to it initially from the images they provided. And I shared, no, I don't know, I don't. And so they credited me back and everything was fine. That wouldn't have happened 5 years ago. You see eBay at large trade shows. I saw them in freaking Macau at a trade show in Macau. So they're out there more. They're talking to collectors more. They're listening to collectors more. I know some really talented people from the hobby who have moved over to eBay. So I'm not saying that they're perfect, far from it, but at the same time, they are far better than they used to be. I've got to imagine that he's going to be on a fairly tight leash with regard to their platform, because they can't have a violation of trust. They're so big that it would really impact business in a way that they don't want. So I see it all the time at PSA, where we stop taking submissions from people who are doing things that we don't like. And I often, when I first came here, I asked, are you sure? Like, maybe we could work with this person because they represent a lot of dollars, and they just say no. And now I get it, and I'm glad my company takes such a hard stance on people who are bending the rules, violating the rules, and it's for the best. So I think there's a pretty good chance that eBay will not do exactly what we'd love to see as collectors, but definitely monitor him for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a good point. If they were totally in it for the profit, they wouldn't have removed PWCC, added the authenticity guarantee. But look, it's still a company that the bottom line is how much money they're making. Probstein was one of their biggest sellers. Interestingly enough, with Probstein off, the biggest seller of sports cards on eBay is PSA. An interesting little fact.
Yeah, and it's happened really quickly, where we tested this going from grading to selling out with Golden, and then we're able to do the deal with eBay. And for me, it's fantastic. I in January of this year, I listed about 26 cards for sale on eBay. It took me about 8 hours all in, taking pictures and doing the item descriptions and answering questions and shipping everything out. 8 hours of my time. And then in March, I did 150 through that I had graded and then sold on eBay through PSA's platform. Took me about 25 minutes, and got the funds in my account much quicker. So eBay also, you basically have to advertise if you want to get your items seen. So you're kicking down 15 to 20% there. So the amount that PSA was taking was less than that. So I felt like I was, because they're a bigger shop, there's more eyeballs on it. So yeah, I felt really good with the process. Our company's really happy with the relationship we have with them thus far. And our mission statement at PSA is to make collecting safe, easy, and fun. And that's what this relationship does. You don't have to worry about getting your cards back and then shipping them out for someone on eBay. It's safe that way. It's super easy. You could do everything from the app, and it's fun to see what your cards are selling for and after they're graded. So I'm really happy with that relationship.
So Chris Carlin, you have some real big fans in the chat. I'm going to ask you a question. It might be a tough question. You might not be able to answer it. And I don't want to put you on the spot because I respect your long history in the hobby.
Listen, first of all, any of my fans can come see me at any of these events. And I think when you're face to face with someone, you can tell they're sincere. You can tell their sincerity. I wouldn't be able to be in this industry unless I had a reputation that people could trust me, and I'm going to look out for them and take care of them, whether it be at Upper Deck or PSA. So, yeah, I'm not one to hide at events.
So my question is this, and it's kind of a theoretical question, but I'm interested in your thoughts on it. PSA is essentially began as and still is a company that assesses the grades of a card. Essentially, it's putting a value on a card by putting a number on a card. And now when PSA gets into the mode of being also a seller, to me, that creates an inherent conflict of interest. Thoughts?
I would say if we were making cards, that would be a conflict of interest. I think it's very dangerous what some companies are doing and have definitely talked about on the manufacturing side, purchasing grading companies. I think that would be a violation. But with regard to how PSA operates, the first thing I ask someone when they come up to visit me at PSA is what's your plans for these items? Why do you want to have them graded in the first place? And there's times where I'll tell people don't grade them. You know, if their plans don't align with and the cards aren't in a condition that's going to work out for what they're trying to do, I would rather tell someone not to use our services and explain why and have them be happy with that than have them use our services and it didn't accomplish what they were trying to do. So getting back to your question, I think that for collectors that are trying to find a path to liquidity, which collectors have told us they were trying to do over and over and over again, we're in this business to help them out. And that path to liquidity through our eBay partnership and now with PSA offers, PSA offers is incredible. It doesn't take any, I've got 2 offers on some cards I just had graded from dealers that don't have any fees associated with them. If I wanted to take the offer, I just press the button and I don't have to ship anything. I don't have to do anything. It's getting back to that safe, easy, and fun mission statement. So I think that, yes, I can see where you're saying that, but these divisions operate separately. Like a grader is not going to be the one who is working on selling a card for you on eBay. It's a whole different team, different process, different silos, more or less.
So, Chris Harris, I have not asked you a question in a while, so I feel like I'm leaving you out, man.
We're gearing up for his rant at the end.
And any thoughts on the last couple of issues that we've talked about?
So I guess this kind of dovetails into something that I wanted to ask Chris, because
there you go.
I know it's been a while since you've been on the show. And I guess about a month ago, there was that whole Jeff Wilson $4,000 upcharge story that was kind of big for a week. I have a few questions that I want to ask you about that. And I realize that you're not the one making the decisions about this. You're just the PSA spokesperson. Don't take these questions.
Not a spokesperson, but go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. So let's suppose I submit 2 cards to PSA. Okay. $28, 45-day turnaround, the lowest level of service that PSA offers. Okay, they get graded, and one of the cards now that PSA says is now valued at $50. Okay. The other is now valued, it got a 10 or something, and you now value it at $50,000. And you're going to upcharge me a couple $1,000s for this card. What exactly am I getting for that extra?
You're getting, great, excellent question. You're getting the only comprehensive grade guaranteed offered in the industry. And just this weekend, a customer brought me this card, and I hope you can see it, but it's a Ty
Let me
Cobb.
give you a full screen here.
It's a Ty Cobb T206, and you can see clearly that it came off the rails. Now, this was one that was done a while ago before we had all these new holders and innovations and things along those lines.
Yeah, that's a super.
We buy that card back for the current market value, and I see Nat sign these checks quite a bit. And for us, because we offer, PSA offers this comprehensive guarantee. If anyone was to say this card isn't authentic, the signature's not authentic, it's overgraded, undergraded, the card's damaged, once it's in our holder, we have this comprehensive grade guarantee to protect the customer. And that's why we have one chance to capture basically the insurance for what the item is in graded condition. And that's why PSA's pricing system is after the item has been graded. So I would much rather explain this than apologize to a customer because I work at a different grading company that doesn't offer that. And oh, by the way, you're screwed that your card's damaged. Simple as that.
Okay.
So let
So
me, there's a good question here.
Go
let me do this one before you. So this is mostly with modern cards because I think most of the vintage cards are going to retain their value. But you got a prospect who is hot as heck, and his card is worth, let's say, $100,000 now. Like, let's say it's Wander Franco. I'm sure there are plenty of upcharges on Wander Franco cards over the years, and now they're worth pennies on the dollar. And that's a problem.
I have some of those. I really do. And it's like, what do you do with them? But yeah, I mean, cards go up and down all the time. But again, we have this one time to capture the insurance value, and the best way to do it is what's the current market value. So it's not a perfect system, but it's as good as it can get for us.
So who determines that current market value?
We purchased
comps or
we purchased Card Ladder for a reason. That's something that collectors uses all the time. And Chris McGill over there, Christina Thorson, they're fantastic at what they do. And I consider it a privilege to work for them. Honestly, after the first question you asked me is, what are you thankful for? And I said collectors, and I mean that. But a very close second are the professionals that I work with in this industry, and a lot of them at PSA and collectors. But I think Card Ladder is such an incredible tool for fans, but it's also something that we use in our business to help determine what something's true value is.
Okay.
Let me just answer this. I'm sorry, and I've now interrupted you 3 times, Chris. I'm sorry. Let me just answer this while I have a chance, because the reality is that if I'm hosting this show, I have a certain obligation to show respect to my guests, and my guests are here on their own time. No one's getting paid for this, and sharing their thoughts and their experiences. And if I'm going to let somebody in to call in who's going to show total disrespect for that guest, I'm not going to put them on. And I know the people that are showing all disrespect in the chat want to get on and yell at Chris Carlin on screen, and that's just not going to happen. So people can call in, people who are going to be respectful and offer something that I think is productive. So that's why you're not going to get called in. But anyway, Chris Harris, I've interrupted you.
They want to yell at me. Come on, bring it. But anyway, So let me circle back to my submission, my fictional submission of two cards. One gets a value of 50, the other a value of $50,000. If I were to then immediately sell that $50,000 card through you guys, and it only sells for $20,000, do I get like a partial refund on this upcharge? Or
Honestly,
what?
I
What if
haven't
you're wrong
I
about that
haven't
valuation?
dealt with that situation before, but I'm sure you could contact our results team is the one that reaches out to collectors to let them know the values. And I know that I've been reached out to by them, and I ask every time I ask, show me the comps, what have you, that you're seeing before I agree to this. But I think when you agree to it, that's when the deal is done, Chris. So if you don't want to agree to it, you can have your card sent back raw and go your separate way. But yeah, I think once you agree to it, you agree to it.
Okay. Is there anything else that you do with that card that justifies an upcharge?
Anything else that's done to it, again, it's
As
holder.
compared to the other card that cost $50.
No, again, it's because of the grade guarantee, Chris. It's because we're ensuring that your card is at this level, covered by PSA's grade guarantee. So again, if anything ever comes up with it, you're protected. Just like the guy I showed you with the Ty Cobb card, he's going to be compensated for that, and we'll work it out from there.
All right. Fair enough.
I love this.
I mean, I know there's a lot of questions about this, but one thing that I think most people don't realize is that price adjustments occur on less than 1% of PSA submissions received in. So everyone makes it out that it's some big deal, but it really doesn't happen as much as people think.
Okay. Well, you know what? There's hostility from a couple of people who are traditionally hostile. And, people have problems with PSA. I am not a PSA fan. I'm just not going to vent it to Chris because,
Honestly,
you're not my
let me tell
sounding
you.
board.
Let me tell
Yeah.
you, I wasn't a huge fan before I came here, and I had a lot of questions too. A lot of thoughts that things were done a certain way, and quite frankly, I wouldn't work here. I just wouldn't unless everything was on the up and up. And I've seen and work alongside some amazing professionals who are very dedicated to helping collectors and dealers and making the industry safe. So I get it. I totally get it. I know hobby rumors and things like that spread like wildfire, but I hope
Concede.
some people can see that I've been in this industry for almost 30 years, and you can't have that type of longevity unless you do things the right way. And again, I would never work for a company that violated trust with customers.
I'm a vintage baseball guy, so part of my problem with PSA is that they're not as accurate on vintage baseball as I would hope. The turnaround times are not great. And I had been an SGC fan for quite a number of years, and of course that's a little bit different. But that being as it may, this is the problem that you're going to have when you work for PSA and you come on a public forum. You're going to catch shit in the comments, and that's what it is.
That's fine.
The reality.
I don't think if we didn't have something like this, if we didn't have a way to engage and share, then yeah, why would you trust a company or a person? So I value these types of engagements because I think education comes from it, and that's why my whole role has changed. Where initially I was helping PSA's call centers get back online and help with efficiencies there, but now it's pivoted to being in front of customers every weekend at different shows and drop-off events throughout the United States and across the world. And I think once you are in front of a customer and can have that free exchange of ideas and be able to talk to them about, here's why grading is important, here's why you wouldn't want to grade this. I think that that's when that trust can build, and the company does well and collectors do well. So again, we are at events all across the nation, and we usually do 3 different events a weekend. You can see them at psacard.com/events, and we're turning on more platforms that are always on. Burbank Sports Cards. You can go to Burbank Sports Cards any day of the week, and we have PSA employees in there. Some grading companies want to put machines into hobby shops that can grade for you. I want to put people. I want to put people that you can ask a question to, and they can give you a good answer. And I think that is what this hobby is all about, is the people.
So Jason has a good question here, and I'm interested, both Chris's, your opinion on this. If there's been a shift, I think I feel it myself and with others, that if we are experienced enough to be able to be confident in the authenticity of the cards that we're purchasing, raw or ungraded, a lot of people are happy enough to just put them in a one touch and that's it.
Great. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Again, like I said in the beginning, people collect a lot of different ways. PSA offers some things that help enhance the collecting experience. Our set registry program is one where Chris talked about, some of his best friends are in the hobby, and I, for me too. But I see real friendships develop out of that set registry, and they call it co-opetition. It's cooperative, that they help build each other's sets, but they're also competitive on who has the best sets. So, the PSA experience doesn't stop when you get your grades in. I think it just gets started.
So I'm going to move, before we move on to our last topic, which is part of, we've already touched on it a little bit. I have a few starred comments for that, but let me just see. Do you have an answer for this one, Chris? Carlin, how the future of SGC?
Yeah, we've just been letting SGC be SGC. The first thing I asked our president after the acquisition is, what am I going to be doing with this? And he said nothing. They're going to operate on their own as their own entity, and PSA will operate as PSA, and you just focus on what you do at PSA. So I haven't had one call, one meeting with anyone from SGC.
Okay. So I start off 3 comments here. How can we trust any auction sites or bidding on eBay? Fix the fake comps. I don't believe cards of any true value. Comps are made up. So my feeling is that when I talked about trust in this situation, it was based on, and wanted to make that a topic, it was based on the events that have happened over the last few months. And my takeaway from a lot of this is that if shill bidding is as prevalent in the hobby as I believe it is now, that creates a serious problem as to what data is pure and what data is fraudulent that goes into comps. So we don't, there's poison in the pool of data that goes into making comps. And as Jeremy Lee says, there's a little bit of shill in every card. And the question is how much? And how much can we believe the comps that exist right now? And one of my trust issues is the cards that I've purchased over the last several years, some of them 4-digit cards, are based on comps that might have been put together with fraudulent data. And that's a problem for me. That's a trust problem for me. And now I'm thinking to myself, and I purchased less in the last couple of months because I'm not sure if the prices that I'm seeing are real prices or if they're inflated prices based on fraudulent data. That's one trust issue. The other trust issue is what was referred to before, which is auction houses. And when light has been shown on the small print in auction house terms and services or terms and conditions, it's shown that auction houses are doing a lot of stuff that a lot of us are very uncomfortable with. And it's a question of, are we going to be able to change the way that auction houses work? Or are we going to have to speak with our wallet? And I guess the third trust issue is that some of the biggest people in the hobby might not be the greatest people out there. So that's what it is.
You don't say.
So I was just let me unpull that so I can see Chris Harris. I really want to hear your opinion on this because I think you might have some strong ones.
Yeah, I mean, this is nothing new. I mean, ever since I was a kid, and I'm a middle-aged man now, so this is going back a ways. This hobby has attracted a lot of unsavory elements that are just looking to make an extra buck out of something. So I don't know. I don't know how we can fix this problem or if it even is fixable, but there's a lot of buyer beware out there, especially if you're buying something sight unseen on the internet. So,
Well, I will say one thing that as bad as the snipe situation was, what I did see and I thought was kind of cool about it was that they allowed video of the card to give you a better understanding of, on eBay you can take pictures of the corners and things like that, but to actually be able to have that movement is something that I thought was pretty cool. And I think the evolution, you look at a platform like Whatnot that didn't really exist in our space 10 years ago, and now people are doing their own little live impersonations of Ken Golden back in the day, and trying to sell their items. So I think we'll continue to see the hobby evolve for the better. But shill binning, it just feels like something we just always have to deal with, and I hate it.
it's a shame Don West isn't around anymore.
That's right. Don West would have the best Whatnot channel.
Folks, you're going to want to get in on this.
Well, I thought we were going to get a lot of trust stuff. I thought we were going to get a lot of discussion on trust because this has been rolling around in my head for months now. I think one of the things that and it's been going on for years and years and years, but on YouTube over the last, let's say, year, what people have started calling the eye appeal movement. And I know old timers are laughing at that. We've always looked at eye appeal, but the concept that eye appeal is more important than the number at the top of the card, and that to me is an antidote to trust issues. But now dealers are starting to pull into this, and now there's the eye appeal tax, and cards are now being priced higher based on eye appeal as opposed to just strictly on the number. And now it's no longer a way to get to solve the problem of trust. So that being as it may, Chris Harris, I promised you some time to give us a little rant, and I know you wanted to talk about one particular issue. So
yeah, okay.
I don't know what he's going to rant about, but I'm excited for this.
All right. So first, some background. I think people who regularly follow me on social media probably know this. And by the way, if you're not, it's at Stale Gum on Twitter. I worked for the federal government for 12 and a half years as an economic analyst. And back in February, when the new administration started, I got a nice letter from a guy named Elon Musk making me an offer that I couldn't refuse. This was when Elon was running roughshod over doing whatever it is that he did. And apparently he didn't do much. So anyway. So I decided to take the buyout. I had many reasons to take the buyout, not the least of which the fact that if I were to get a job sometime in the summer of this year, I would continue to draw my government job and government benefits until the end of September. Double dipping, my own greed, basically. That didn't work out. I broke my arm over the summer, and for like a couple of months, I was unable to use a keyboard, which is kind of something that you need to do when you're looking for a job, typing out cover letters. If you saw me at the National, you might have noticed my arm was still in a sling. That was why. Okay, so I figure, somewhat of my experience, I'd love to have a job in the hobby. Who wouldn't? So back in June, this was right before I broke my arm, Beckett had a job posting that was, I think, right up my alley. They were looking for a data analyst with some experience who was able to program in Python and use something called R, which is a big data. I'm mostly a Stata guy. If you know, you know. R has kind of come, it does really the same thing. But this is a job that was tailor-made for someone like me, okay? And I applied, and I patiently waited. I waited for a call. I waited for a Zoom meeting. I tried to talk to somebody at the National about this job. Nothing. I even went on to LinkedIn and started following their HR guy and started giving him messages. Hey, can you give me an update on this job? Nothing. So about a couple of weeks ago, I finally got something from Beckett, an email. This is the email right here. I don't know if you can see this.
Let me put you on. Show it again.
Okay. Can you see that?
There you go.
Actually, it looks like it's backwards, but yeah,
we can see it. We can read it. Yeah.
It's a rejection letter. I've literally gotten hundreds of these over the last couple of months. They all say the same thing. Thank you for your interest in this job. You made it tough, but we were impressed with your qualifications, but we've decided to move along. Best of luck in your future endeavors, blah, 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 blah. Like I said, I've literally gotten hundreds of these things. I know the script by now. And they're all being sent from a no reply email that is not monitored. So I can't ask them why they decided to move on from me and choose someone else. So this is the reason, this letter is the reason why I've decided, I asked for this time, because the wording, I just couldn't believe the tone deafness. I will read you the first sentence, okay? Dear Christopher, thank you for your interest in the data science position at BKX Holdings, LLC. I guess that's apparently what Beckett is now. I thought it was Collectivists or just Beckett Media, but it's now BKS. Okay. Thank you for your interest at BKX Holdings and for taking the time to meet with our team. You never talked to me.
All right.
I've been waiting for months for a phone call, a Zoom meeting. Hell, I was even willing on my own dime to fly out to Dallas to meet with somebody about this job. And I got nothing. All right. Ghosted. I tried following the HR guy on LinkedIn. Nothing. And the thing is, I think everybody realizes that Beckett Media is kind of a distressed property right now in the hobby. It's something that's seen better days. But there are people out there where the Beckett name still means something. who want to work for this company, who want to see it succeed and thrive like it used to. But if you're not even bothering to answer the goddamn messages, I don't know what to think. So that's all I got to say right now. I'm just frustrated. And if you know somebody who happens to be hiring a data analysis with 12 and a half years experience, I will code for food.
Looks like
that's all I got to say. Keep on rocking in the free world, folks. And
yeah, sorry to hear
don't
that,
let the
Chris.
bastards grind you down.
That's a bad experience for sure.
Well, Jason made a reference in this in the chat. It's a tough world out there. I made the jump many years ago, since I'm an old man, that to work for myself, and I've worked for myself now for a long time, and the only person who can fire me is me, and I've decided not to fire me. So at this point, I mean, is there a way to put your own shingle out? Is that something you could do? I don't know, but I wish you luck, Chris. And Beckett is Beckett. Are they a failing company? I don't know. I mean, I've never subbed with them. I have Beckett cards here, a few of them here and there, just because that was the right card at the right time for me. But I don't really have any interest in their product at this point.
This is not my loss, okay? It's theirs, as far as I'm concerned. So,
well, thank you, Mad City Brew. I hope everyone has a great and safe rest of the weekend. I agree with you. I have to thank you, Chris Harris, for coming in and bearing your soul a little bit and being patient with me, because I kept cutting you off.
That's all right.
But
thank you for giving me the time to rant. So,
well, it's you asked for it and you got it, and like I said, you were patient with my interrupting you. And in future Hobby Hotline episodes, if we're together, I will certainly not do that anymore, and we'll give you the floor a little more. Chris Carlin,
Chris, where are you based out of?
Delaware.
Okay.
I think we had this conversation before.
Well, let's keep it going.
Hey, I wouldn't mind living in Jersey
I'll take your
City.
call.
I wouldn't mind it.
There you go. I think we got an interview coming.
There you
go. Chris Carlin, I know you took a lot of shit in the in the chat, and I tried to at least filter a little bit of it.
That's why I like doing this show. It gives.
But in the end, I took more than you did. So
there you go.
It's on me. I appreciate you coming on and your openness, and you're willing to talk about a lot of different things. And I know you're a good guy. You've been a good guy for many years in the hobby, and I hope that we can spend more time together on Hobby Hotline in the future.
Absolutely.
Thank you, John Newman, for sticking up for me in the chat and being in the bullpen if anybody wasn't able to make it on. But we're a little over an hour now, so I'm going to call it at the end of a show. I really appreciated both of you gentlemen, the two Chris's, coming on and adding a lot to the conversation. The chat was lively, sometimes not so good, sometimes really good. Some really good questions and comments. So thank you, everybody. This has been Hobby Hotline. We'll be back next week. I am not the host next week, but I will be in the end of December. So hopefully you guys will join and give me plenty of crap in the chat from now on. So anyway, folks, take care. We'll see you soon.
All right, take care.